then just once or twice a week, you need to go up and down steps. If it's tying your shoes, or maybe you gotta do 20 repetitions to tying your shoes throughout the day. But you wanna actually tie to things that matter, not how much you can curl, or how much you can press, or how much any of those things. It's kind of important, but it's not as important as being able to function on a day-to-day basis.
Getting on the floor with your grandkids, playing with your I mean, and that's our demographic is lifestyle.
They're just in grandmotherhood, so they're all,
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the biggest message for us to you guys is to find what works and what your goals are. We are not a gym with women running around with sports bras and six packs. It is women who want to be able and be around for their grandkids and to play with them and too. So those are the goals. So like he said, you just got to find something that you want in a goal and work at it, you know, with small steps. And
yeah.
I need more coffee, maybe I'm like, eh.
So there's a couple notes on here that I just put on, but like we've all heard if you don't use it, you lose it. Like that's not a surprise. And again, I told you I'm gonna keep repeating things that you've heard your whole life, but you know it's true. If you can't wash your back up midway before anymore, it's because you haven't stretched your arms for a long time. If you can't reach a certain spot on your leg or whatever, it's because you haven't done it. So the whole idea is like you're not going to be able to get all the way back down to toes tomorrow, but you build up and you start stretching every single day a little bit more of the back and hamstring. Whatever your engagement is that you're trying to accomplish, you start putting that into the day-to-day. So it says how to start over for the last time. That's what we talked about. Pair your daily habits that you're already doing, whether it's brushing teeth, coffee, shower, something that you know that you do on a repetitive basis, and how can you incorporate a little exercise into that. So what we've done for some people is everybody here gets mail every day, right? Or except for Sundays. So day one tomorrow, walk to your neighbor's mailbox, back, grab your mail, and get inside the house. Do that for a couple of days. Then you're gonna start walking 2 mailboxes down, come back, grab yours, go inside. And you start adding 1 mailbox every week. And 52 weeks from now, you're getting pretty far away from home before you get back. How long does it take in the first week? 20, 30 extra seconds. Second week, it maybe takes a minute. Third week, a minute and a half, and 2 minutes, and 3, and 4. And so it gets to the point to where you've now started tying in those daily actions, and you're not exercising. You're just getting your mail the long way, you know? And that's where you really start adding those things up, way more than going to a gym. That's where those things really add up. It's like you're going to get your mail every single day. And you might find on Sunday, you just by habit go out there to go get it. So the next thing I put on there is the cardio myth. So many people, when they want to burn fat, they just run themselves to death on a treadmill, an elliptical, tons of walking. That's important, but like your muscles are what burn the calories. So the reason why Larry and I will burn way more fat than all of you is because he has an extra 30 to 50 pounds of muscle than everybody else in the room. So when we start on day one, his results are going to be 30 to 50% faster than everyone else's. But what happens is after 3-4 weeks, he hits a dead end just like I hit a dead end. And that's where as you start incorporating your muscles more, that's where ladies start to catch up and pass them by. I don't think we have any more than maybe 3 guys that have lost 50 pounds ever, but we've got a lot of ladies that have done it. The ladies took a lot longer, but it's because they just keep going and that's where it chips away. Guys will lose it quick in the first month or 2 and they'll gain it back even quicker. Okay? So you can't just depend on your natural ability if we have more muscle to lose, because it does. It's actually just as hard once we pass that 4th and 5th week to still keep that going. So the whole idea is you can incorporate your muscles. So if you go to mailbox number 1 and back, and number 2 and back, and that starts getting a little easier, then you start incorporating, we're gonna do 5 squats. Or inside our house, we'll squat to the recliner 5 times or 10 times, then we go walk out to the mailbox, come back, 5 or 10 more when we're back in AC, and that's it for the day. But when we start using our muscles, no matter where it is, if it's push-ups against a counter when you're doing your brushing your teeth, it doesn't matter. When you incorporate muscles, they take 24, 48, 72 hours to recover, and during that time, your body's burning more calories. When you walk, as soon as your heart rate calms back down, the calorie burning is done. So one might burn for 20 minutes, the other one burns for 2-3 days. So there's a big difference with that, and that's where using your muscles is always going to equal a lot better fat loss with that.
I just want to give a heads up that we're probably going to be about...
We started 15 minutes, behind, but we'll be close. Do you have anything else on exercise? Yeah, 15 minutes, I think we'll be out of here for sure.
I'm so sorry, we said 12:30, so...
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously, respect time. I know I looked at the clock as we're going, like...
We have our walkthrough today, we're really excited.
So,
See, they can all relate to that.
yeah, so on the exercise thing, the whole idea is like, if you really look at it, and there was something that you wanted to improve. So if it's your belly, if it's your legs, if there's a body part, the goal that we always try and tell everybody is aim to do 100 repetitions a day. So if it's your legs and you started just doing 50 to the side and 50 to the side, and the next day you did 50 marches, and the next day you did some sort of type of squat, that over time, when you look over a month, over a year, that's thousands of repetitions. And you never stepped foot into a gym, you never had to do anything that was really that strenuous. You never got yourself sore, you never caused more arthritis pain, you did nothing to hurt your body, but only things to, proactively help your body. So, perfect segue again. With the proactively helping your body, you're talking about, I'm a chiropractor's son. And so to me, I always grew up very aware of posture. I'll see a client walk through the door and I'm like, oh, my knee's bothering. How long's the right knee been bothering? How do you know? And I can just see in somebody's gait, whether their stride is not the same or whatever, but all these things happen to us, but they happen slowly. We always notice when the fire happens, but really what's happened is that fire has been starting slowly throughout the course of a couple of years. It might be that we sit on the same side of the couch and we lean like this every single day, and we do this for 20 years, and all of a sudden we go to pick something up, it's like, oh, well, it's because we stretch out that side and tighten this side for 20 years, sitting on the same side of the car, or on the recliner, or we cross our legs only one way throughout the day, and we never cross that other side, but our body molds.
You stand lean like me. I'm constantly trying to shift weight, but even just standing and shifting your weight on one hip, over years.
It's huge. She's just said that and it brought me back to 11 years old. I played baseball all growing up, and to me, we were Detroit Tigers fans. There was a guy, Cecil Fielder, he was probably 60 pounds overweight, but he played first base, and he stood like this as he was waiting for the ball. And Derek thought he was going to be cool at 11 years old, and that's how I was standing. And you would think, my dad being the coach, I would have gotten in trouble for just not being in a ready position, but he's like, you were going to throw your back and hips out by doing that, whatever. Those are my life lessons that I grew up with. So it's so funny, that was an exact example. I was like, wow, that just clicked right in my head with that. But so the whole idea is you got to look at it in a sense that your body doesn't just get hurt today. It's gotten hurt time and time, and then it just had that one major flare up. So with our clients, one thing we talk about is people always try to do curls, and they're right through here. And what you're doing is you're just tightening up a muscle over and over when really we're trying to work this, but they're not going through full range of motion. And then they go turn a doorknob the next day, or they grab the milk out of the fridge and all of a sudden they have tendonitis in their elbow. You did it to yourself. Again, a rubber band's supposed to stretch and contract. If you are constantly doing something in a tightened range of motion, so that could be sitting in the car, sitting in a recliner, crossing the legs, you are injuring yourself just with your posture.
Heavy purse, ladies.
Heavy purse, sitting on one side. It throws off your whole body. Think back to when you were carrying your kids. Probably kept them on the same hip, and you probably had pain in that shoulder, that hip, that whatever for years afterwards. So it's just
wallet for gentlemen as well.
Yeah, wallet for gentlemen. If you get sciatica, it's because you put your wallet on the same side and you're causing your own back pain. And it's always the same side because you're sitting like this all day long, then you go to step and it's it's supposed to be like that. So we do it to ourselves with just subtle imbalances. Yeah, I talk about my dad being a chiropractor. My grandfather was the opposite. He was a tough, I can fix anything, whatever. Right? He was a tough guy. So instead, he just got 2 wallets and put one in each pocket to define my dad. But he was balanced. So it's however you have to fix your situation, it's cool. But just remember, you have to have balance. If you're not balanced left to right, it's not going to help. So this is where when we talk about our sleeping routines and our nightly routines, we're all going to have to go to sleep eventually. So incorporate your stretching every time your butt hits the edge of the bed. I've listened to my dad say this for 36 years. Every patient. Butt hits the edge of the bed in the morning, butt hits the edge of the bed at night. Do it, and he calls it the 5-position stretch. Basically, sitting from your chair, you lean forward from here, then you go elbow to knee, and then reach over top, at least hit low back and stretch out those areas. But if you have tight hamstrings, perfect time, reach for the ground. So it really comes down to tie it with your daily habits. If you're going to sleep anyway, and you plan on waking up tomorrow morning, 2 great times to get started. Right? Do we have animals that wake up, you want to go to the bathroom, you're sitting at the door like an idiot, let's go, and they're taking their time to stretch because they know it's important, okay? So if our animals are smart enough to do it, we're just sitting there come on, let's go. Stretch with your cat and your dog for a second, and then go ahead and get the rest of your stuff done. But animals instinctively, because they're not worried about what other people think, they're not worried about what's stress or what's going on, They know they gotta stretch themselves before they get going. So animals are smart enough to do it, we should be smart enough to do it. Ooh, that's the exact line that says on there. So, options, stretch, yoga, Pilates, chiropractic, massage, meditate, pray. Just do something. Pick one thing and commit to it. It's going to help you sleep better, it's going to help you function better. And again, we talked about momentum at the beginning. You throw an injury into anything, even if you're going great and you're on a great track, one injury will throw off a client for months because they get out of a routine. Rituals and habits equal your outcomes. They throw off their habits just a little bit in their rituals of doing things, and all of a sudden everything in their life changes. They eat an extra cheat meal, they miss a little bit of sleep, they don't write their to-do list, and so those things start adding up. So it's one of those things like tie your good habits that you want to start with daily habits that you're already doing. Stretch morning, night, should help. Very last thing, how the heck do we make this all fit in? We've lived 60, 70, I don't know. What's our oldest age? Do we have anybody? Oh, 78. I'm allowed to ask weight from women. I'm allowed to ask age. I'm one of the few professions that can. Over 70? Anyone? No? Over 65? Over 60? Everyone, cool. You had.
Barely over 60, please.
So sorry.
Just a touch.
So sorry to face reality for us today. So, when we're looking at this, like, two main roadblocks holding back, there's no direction. I think that's really one of the number two roadblock holding people back is that they have no direction. So the whole idea is like your top three things that you wrote on page one of like what would equal a successful outcome. That's like your guiding star. That's like your North Star for the next 12 months or for the rest of your life. You know, if there's something that you want to be proactive in helping, that's where that time management thing, it also needs to be made a priority. So going back to the dictionary, I think it was 1965, the word priorities, like plural, was added. But really, if you think about it, how can more than one thing be a priority? Priority means the most important thing. So when we start looking at these things, like out of those three, just like Michelle said, you need to pick one when you leave here. Because if you think you're going to change your whole life and incorporate something from all 7 sections, probably not going to happen. So you make a priority. Once you have that established, then you have the next priority, and then you get that established, and then you have the next. So the whole idea is with time management, like you can't expect something to just happen unless you're actually intentionally and deliberately doing it. So in the beginning, it might be something to where you need to put Post-its all around your house that say stretch, or where your toothbrush is, because that's where you're going to stretch. It sounds crazy, but just like the alarm for drinking water, it's essential because our lives just happen, and we blink, and we showed up at the driveway where we're supposed to be at. And we just autopilot all throughout the day. So if you expect to course correct them, just like a GPS, you need to have little triggers that kind of pop up throughout your day that kind of throw you off of the routine and say, oh, I need to stretch. Oh, I didn't do my extra mailbox when I went to the mailbox. You know, you might start having tick marks on the inside of your mailbox of how many mailboxes away your mailman think you're crazy. But like you have to find something. Don't worry about what other people think. Like you need to put it into your own actions. So your perfect day starts the night before. Perfect example, like both of us with this. My gym clothes are out. I'm a heavy sweater, so back of gym clothes are out. Females, you guys have even more. Like if you want to go through some of those things that you prepare the night before, but.
Oh, as far as going to the
everything,
gym, yeah, change of clothes, deodorant, hair ties, dry shampoo, I mean, you name it, you can't, but I lay everything out, because again, like I said, I'm a highly anxious person, so the more I can have control of my day, or what I can control, because as we all know, life throws us a lot of curveballs. So I try to, like I said, have everything pre-packed. I have snacks, my water, my protein shakes. I have cereal, all my reminders set for certain times, so I know exactly when and where I need to do. My calendar, I always review my calendar the night before as well. So I also kind of have a roadmap of like what I need to do when I leave the gym, meetings, etc. So the more you be prepared on something, obviously the better.
Yeah, the worst feeling, like I love doing this with like schools when we do it, or even like, you know, with employees of different companies, but the worst thing is forgetting something and everybody's looking at you and you forgot to bring the file or the whatever it is, and you're like, oh, there's nothing worse than not being prepared when you show up someplace. Like it is just like, oh, it's one of the worst sinking feelings. So the more prepared you are, even if it never happens, like it's a feeling of confidence. And again, to get that momentum, it's like one thing will derail people's entire day. And really, like, there's so much time in every single day, but we'll get tripped up or thrown off by one bad conversation, one bad road rage, one bad whatever experience with a cashier in a store. So like these are the things where like setting up those reminders, setting up things in advance, and the more preparation you have, just the more things just kind of fit into your groove of your cruise control like you're driving, except now you don't even realize that you walk the extra mailbox and you pack your clothes the night before and you do these different things. So I put in here like production versus busy. If you're that person that's like, oh my God, I'm so busy. And then you look at like you've actually not done anything personal and selfish for your own body. If you haven't actually done something that's like in a positive direction, whether it's for living your best retirement or living your best life or being the best grandparent or spouse, if it's a situation like that, that's where like production versus busy again is so important, and that's where priority. And like when you wake up in the morning, you should know like I'm going to be the best at this today, or I have to get this done today. But so often we wake up and react. First thing we do is pick up our phone. First thing we do is put on the news. So politics, like however. So we do things. It's like that's the last thing you want to do is let somebody else dictate your day. So the more information you like come in the morning without having your game plan ahead of time, that's where we get disrupted with things. So it might sound minor in the scheme of fitness, but again, you are less likely to be selfish for yourself in a good way if there's all these other things happening, all these other fighters around you. All right? Guys, that's all we have. If we have questions and answers for
That's
anything,
it.
please.
It's just an hour. That's it.
We started at 15 hours, so we went an hour and 17 minutes it looks like on that. So, guys, our card is up on top. That's our cell phone number on the back of mine, and then Michelle's are here with her cell phone. Like, this is all we do. So we don't teach any sessions at our facility anymore. Like, we are really just like the accountability coaches for our business. There is zero cost to ask questions. Again, information is free. So it's really one of those situations, like, please message us if you have questions after today. Again, like I said, I'm going to put this whole video up on YouTube tonight. So if you guys are going through your notes and like,